with me is Mole Trap. Hey!
Sorry about that.
That was pretty funny. I was trying to be like, I am Wolf, with me as Mole Trap, but then like my mic wasn't on, so all they heard was with me as Mole Trap, and you jumped in. Well, that was good too, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all right. No one's gonna judge you.
They said I had 30 seconds, like 10 seconds ago, so I thought I had enough time to like jump in the chair, and I like came back and I was like, oh, we're on camera already. Oops.
That's all right. Well,
that's all right. And you know what is gonna be more than all right?
What's that? What's that?
DongRaeGu versus JYP is gonna be off the hizzle.
Off the. I'm sorry. What?
Off the hizzle.
Oh, okay.
It's like off the hook, but like you're Snoop Doggifying the hook. In
I thought it was like his hook. If you did that though,
his hook,
I don't know
that
how to convert those words.
It's a skill. What can I say?
DongRaeGu got here to the round of 16 by knocking out Inca, former finalist, 2-0. So Inca's out, man. He's not even in Code A anymore.
Yeah.
Kicked him out like he didn't belong. Now can he kick down his opponent, formerly known as TSL Smart, now known as JYP? Only time will tell.
DongRaeGu is so good. He is 8-2 versus Protoss. He is actually 8-2 versus Protoss. Now, here's the thing. One of those losses was versus JYP in the LG Cinema 3D tournament. So this is like a revenge match for JYP. But there's the man, DongRaeGu. Very, very strong Zerg player. It's funny, like he's been this good, and like we just didn't know it. And then he like came out in the team league, and we're like, who's this guy we've never heard of? And he like owns everyone. We're like, oh, he's actually really good, but he just never got into GSL. There's his opponent.
Yep, JYP.
You were saying you used to practice with him?
No, I never practiced with JYP.
Oh, okay.
I've seen him practice a lot though. He played with TSL. He played with a lot of FXO people. FXO people were playing in the team league, and he's played in a lot of FX Open tournaments. So I've seen a lot of him outside of the GSL. And he took out any pro prime in a PvP 2-0, made him look kind of silly, knocked any pro out of the GSL, any pro like a round of 4 guy in Code S several times. So pretty impressive, but that's not PvZ, which is what we've got here. And I think this may be our closest match we're going to have today.
This is going to be a really high-level match. I actually, you know, I don't know too much about JYP myself, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you one thing about him is that he plays like Puzzle. He actually has a very similar style to Puzzle. So if you've ever watched Puzzle play, you can get a good idea of how JYP plays. He doesn't do...
I haven't seen Puzzle play a ton either.
All right, well, he plays basically a very gateway-heavy style.
I've seen some, but...
He plays gateway-heavy in this matchup for the most part. He does timing attacks. He gets aggressive of 6 to 8 gateways as he takes his third. He doesn't play like we saw Naniwa play yesterday with Void Rays and Phoenixes.
Yeah.
That's not really his style in this matchup.
Okay. Makes
He likes to use the gateway units instead. I mean, he does use Stargate units sometimes, but he really likes to stick with the gateway units as much as possible.
Yeah. Now, JYP doesn't have quite as good of a record versus Zerg. He actually lost recently in the iCup tournament to Naya, who I've not even heard of.
He's in Zenex. He's pretty good.
And yeah, I'm actually looking. He hasn't really beaten. He beat Lenok. Anyway, let's get into the first game. And here is our Zerg player. He is, I think, favored to win this match. He's been doing really well in the team league. He's now in the GSL. Did really well in MLG as well. From the team MVP.
MVP DongRaeGu.
A lot of fans here for him today.
Yeah, man, he's gotten a lot of fans. He's kind of a cool guy, too.
Yeah, he's really nice.
And here's his opponent, the blue Protoss player. Really has to prove himself here.
GSL JYP.
JYP hasn't really had a chance to prove himself against strong Zerg players. Like I said, he beat Lenok, but he lost to DongRaeGu in the 3D tournament. So, you know, this is kind of his proving ground. I think DongRaeGu's favored, and JYP has to, you know, pull off a kind of an upset here if he's going to show that he's a real contender in this tournament.
Yeah, he really does. And JYP's Blink Stalker control is phenomenal. But watch out for that. Obviously, he's going to be going for a fast expand here. And I've told you guys before, last time I've seen him play this matchup, I've seen him play it a few times. He likes to go gateway heavy. And I'm thinking we're probably going to see that from him again. This is Daybreak, by the way. It's a new map. It's a 2-player map, so I know you guys look at it from, just from you guys' view. It's very difficult. You can't like zip around the map to see it. So I'll just tell you guys, in the middle of the map, there's this huge destructible debris that basically reduces the rush distance by like 30% if you break it. You don't have to walk around this huge crevice. But in the earlier parts of the game, it's a very long rush distance by ground.
Interesting.
So that may make JYP more likely to want to use Stargate play because his ground units can't be as aggressive as he could on a map like Xel'Naga Fortress, Xel'Naga Caverns, or Metalopolis even.
Well, of course, if he gets a pylon in the right spot, then
that
distance
can
won't matter
change
too
everything,
much.
yeah.
So DongRaeGu going for pool first, and I believe he has his gas as well. Yes, so he's going to be going for probably Speedling opening, Speedling expand.
Yeah, it's a
pretty
Speedling
common.
expand. Unless he does something tricky and goes like one base roach on a really long rush distance. Like, no, DongRaeGu's not going to do that. No way.
No. And Nexus going down for JYP.
He still has his probe over here, but DongRaeGu's got an Overlord to spot, so I don't think we're going to see any sort of cannon shenanigans. Very difficult.
Cananigans?
Cananigans, you could call it that. It's funny because cannons used to be such an integral part of this matchup for a while. I don't know if you guys remember the classic 2-pylon block.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I love doing that, and I was like so sad it's gone. But it's funny because when it got taken out from a Pro perspective, I was so frustrated because it was like an integral part of a lot of my builds. But now I look back, and I'm like, that's kind of silly that was even part of the game.
And if you look at the expansion there, see that neutral depot?
Yeah.
That makes it so you can't even 3-pylon block the ramp now.
Yeah.
Because on this map it's just blocked. Makes it so you can't wall off the bottom of a ramp.
Very true. Those are the old days, man, with the 2-pylon block. Or the cannoning on Steps of War, where you cannon the low ground and you start cannoning up, or on Desert Oasis. The bunker rushes you could do back on that map. You put the bunker, then you lift your barracks up and float it and make people cry. That's what I used to do.
I didn't actually. What did the floating bunker or floating barracks do?
Well, on Desert
you land
Oasis,
it to block it or something?
Oh, well, what you do is you make the bunker close to the mineral line, and then you like leapfrog your bunkers. But you make your
to give vision.
yeah.
Oh, that did happen to me sometimes. You're
yeah,
right.
it's
okay.
very, very frustrating. It's difficult to deal with.
Yeah, that was annoying. Now DongRaeGu, he got just enough money for speed, or just enough gas for speed, and he's just got one drone mining gas now. So he's just gonna have that slowly build up so he can get a lair eventually. But he's mostly concentrating on droning up right now, and he actually only got 4 Zerglings as well. So you need to get that speed just in case there's like stalker pressure or something like that. Just in case you need to react quickly with a bunch of defense, you need those speedlings. But he's just gotten that defensively and is concentrating entirely on economy right now.
Uh-oh, these Zerglings took this opportunity to maybe run around because those Zealots were out, but with the nice wall off by JYP, is not really able to see anything. Stargate going down, so he is going to be making a Stargate this time rather than going for his usual style. And a very fast third base by DongRaeGu.
Suck it, neutral depot.
These cannons told that depot, man.
Yep.
Burned down to the ground.
It makes sense to get it out of the way because you never know if you're going to need to drop a cannon there or something.
Daybreak is now supply blocked. Not going to be able to make any more. Not going to be able to make any more Xel'Naga watchtowers on this map or destructible rocks until he builds another depot.
And he's starting off with a chrono boosted Void Ray.
And he's going to spot this third base with the Zealot and put some pressure on there. And in fact, the creep spread for DongRaeGu is going to make it very. I mean, he's spreading it in that direction, but it's not going to be connected.
Yeah.
That Void Ray could do some serious damage.
Yeah, it's actually going to be really hard to defend that third base from any air units.
Especially because the Zealot's already starting to do some damage right now. The Queens are already going over there, though. Smart choice by DongRaeGu, realizing what's going on. He's like, well, I need to clean up the Zealot with these Queens, but also there's probably a Void Ray coming. It's pretty common to see that.
And they do chase that off. The Void Ray checking for Overlords first. Wants to kill those off, so he's actually not going to just rush over to that third base. So.
Yeah, I think he's just going to leave it alone for now. He realizes the Queens are already there. He's like, well, maybe you wouldn't spread your creep. Maybe I could do some real damage here, but he knows the Queens are already there now. It's not going to work out like he wants. He's going to get an Overlord who will actually supply block DongRaeGu.
I always feel like it's a waste of a charge. Like, whenever I see like them kill an Overlord and then like the charge just goes away, I'm like, oh man. They had it all charged up and everything, and they didn't even get to use it.
He like didn't even get to destroy any minerals or like neutral units with that charge.
These Zerglings that also, by the way, we didn't get a shot of it, but they took out the Zealot that was running around the middle of the map, are running around as well and getting assaulted by Void Rays. And oh my goodness, Wolf, there is a Warp Prism being produced right now.
What does it mean?
We're gonna see some, whoa, and several gateways as well. We might see some.
It's like a 6 gate with a Warp Prism.
Huh.
He's probably going to warp Zealots in on top of that third base using that Warp Prism.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to have to rely on probes anymore. He's lost too many probes. I mean, he's sent out several probes for the same reason, trying to go over here, and each time they've been thwarted by Zerglings, so he's tired of that. He's going to make a Warp Prism fly over those Zerglings.
And he's actually got 2 Void Rays over there. Surprised he didn't put a little more pressure on there. Some ground units coming in as well. Yeah, he could also.
Ooh.
It looks like he's heading over.
Oh, he's doing a sentry drop. You guys haven't seen this yet at the GSL, but I can tell you guys right now, the sentry drop is scary.
Oh, it gets spotted though.
It does get spotted, and there is a Spore Crawler in the main base, so he's going to have to be very careful with that Warp Prism. Meanwhile, the Void Ray is taking out Crawlers here.
And oh my gosh. He's sending in the Warp Prism to do nothing. It's going to run into a Spore Crawler. Actually, major battle going over here at the third. One of the Void Rays looks like it might have been taken out.
Huge speeding counterattack at the same time, by the way.
Warping in some Zealots to go with those sentries. Craziness going on all over the map.
That's a lot of different things going on here.
And he force fields the ramp to keep units from coming up to kill this drop. And he's warped in Stalkers and Zealots. They're killing everything. Looks like he's surrounded one of the Zealots, but the others are killing Zerglings, killing drones. Warping in more Zealots now, and those 3 sentries just keeping the ramp completely blocked.
Yeah, really nice multitasking here by both players, but DongRaeGu doing a decent job holding this off. Finally, his sentries do get surrounded. He didn't have any more force fields to protect him because he kept force fielding the ramp, but the Void Rays are inside the main base here now, and there aren't any queens. There's just one queen that will be taken out very quickly. A second queen does come and join her, though, and does have transfuse. Yeah, this Void Ray is going to want to get out of here.
And
loses the Void Ray, and the huge counterattack.
Whoa, actually, and DongRaeGu might not have enough to block this. Major Zergling attack. Now it's DongRaeGu in JYP's main, and he's going to be able to kill some probes, possibly some tech buildings.
Yeah, this is not looking good for JYP. Just lost his Void Ray, was not prepared as natural. The Zerglings, there were a lot of counterattacks during that engagement. I don't know how many of them you guys
there
got
was,
shot
there
up,
was craziness going on in the main and the third and JYP's base a little bit.
Now
Stuff going on everywhere. That was
this
nuts.
counterattack. I think might be a little bit too much.
This is going to be. It's not going to work with the sentries there.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird. Saves the probes. I was trying to.
That's funny. Lifts up the probes and the Warp Prism.
Well, JYP is significantly behind now.
Well, yeah, the dust. Let's look at this. The dust has settled, and DongRaeGu's up 30 supply.
15 drones in production.
He's going to be up 20 drones in a second. So at the end of all that, even though it looked like JYP was kind of owning his main, DongRaeGu does come out ahead.
He's gonna have better tech coming out here as well. He's got a Baneling Nest in the way. His Infestation Pit finished. He made his macro hatchery into the lair. That's interesting.
That's kind of interesting.
Blink is on the way for JYP, but his Stargate play here has been pretty effective. He lost a Void Ray. He didn't do any real damage. He damaged a lot of things. Things got scary, but it didn't actually work out for him. So now he's kind of got this tough position where he's in, where he can't move out. The rush distance on this map is very far, and DongRaeGu can expand again and again, and he can't put any real pressure on. He's going to drop 2 sentries here.
Yeah, JYP with 2 sentries is kind of weird.
He's going to try to trap these drones. This is something that's gotten a little bit more popular, but
just loses it though.
Yeah, that's just you know, I mean,
that's actually something that White Raw said he was going to try and do. I asked him to hold that thought. Zergling's attacking here. They're going to get slaughtered though. Nice force fields protecting things there. Yeah, I was like, White Raw, I actually interviewed him on YouTube, and I was like, what is your, like, people wanted me to ask you questions, and like they wanted to know what special tactics you're going to come up with next. And he's like, I'm working on a Sentry Archon drop. He was going to try and use Sentries and Archons possibly in a similar way. But anyway, that's kind of cool to see people innovating, doing some new stuff. A lot of Zerglings running around the middle of the map. Wisely, they do not engage this time. Gonna fall back to the creep.
This is the kind of thing that JYP is really known for, is moving out with these good timings. Even though he has a very small forest, it's very scary, and DongRaeGu is a little bit nervous because he's got most of these Zerglings, but now he has these Infestors, which are going to come to play a lot.
Nice! Fungal on the Zealots, Fungal on everything. Infested Terrans going down as well, but he traps the Infestors, so he might be able to kill them off. No, everything gets slaughtered.
And even trapping the Void Ray here, it falls. JYP looking like he may be down for the count here. A Void Prism drops there, picks up, I'm sorry, a High Templar, and he's gonna maybe try to do a Storm drop around the map somewhere. Not going to work out extremely well. Yeah, it's a High Templar on that War Prism.
Yeah, Storm's almost done researching, but so is Neural Parasite. So is Drop for Overlord, the Ventral Sax. Here comes some Zerglings running into the natural. There's a lot of Templar there, but Storm is not researched yet. Infested Terrans going down as well, and they actually have really good DPS. There, the Storm finishes, and all of the Zerglings die. Oh my god. That is one of the largest pools of blood that I have ever seen.
39 kills on that High Templar.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Well, things could get even nastier if this High Templar drop goes off. Another little Zergling attack here. He's trying to force his way, and he's trading okay here. Now, 4 Zealots are going to get dropped.
Left of the map. Zealots coming out. He's just going to target down that hatchery.
There's no drones there, so he's going to save the High Templar for a more potent location.
Yeah.
Like over at the left side. Doesn't want to lose the Warp Prism to a Spore Coil like he did last time, though. And I don't think he's going to get that.
Nope.
Well, nope.
Wow. That was actually a lot closer than I thought. Warp Prism's going to hide off in space.
Yeah, JYP is down 70 supply. And this Warp Prism is going to fly into a Spore Crawler.
Is it?
Yep.
So it is.
Well, he does get a
drop off, though.
Ooh, and he
drones.
Keeps that High Templar alive. It's like that mission in that multitask trainer that I played during the downtime of the beta.
I think that's the first time that and I'm sure it's happened before that I don't remember, but that's like total Brood War style like Storm drop. We haven't really seen that actually very much in Starcraft 2.
I used to do it a lot more when you had the amulet because you could actually just warp in a High Templar in the Storm. Yeah. It was much easier then.
The warp in drop, oh my goodness, that's a ton of Banelings. He might
actually going to get
cancel
stormed.
them all though.
This is going to get stormed, man.
Oh no! And there are the Banelings though. They get stormed and they're walking through the storms, all of them dying, most of them dying without doing too much damage.
Well, yeah, but when you see all those Banelings die and you look at the display, it's just like, that's how little it matters, Mole Trap.
Yeah. Oh, nice feedback on a couple of the Infestors. The rest of them throw down some Infested Terrans though.
He's like,
Banelings coming in as well.
He's like, well, I could fungal, but what am I going to fungal? There's like no units here. My Banelings are just kind of sitting there like, well, I thought we were going to kill some probes. I guess I'll just right-click on the Nexus.
I think he actually hit X.
Oh yeah, it's entirely possible.
I don't think he even hit most of them into the Nexus.
Shark Infestors escape here. Infested Terrans clean up the Zealots.
GG! Coming from JYP.
And, you know, actually during that entire game, I was thinking about my liquid bet. We were talking about this earlier. And I was like, wait, who did I vote for? And then I remembered I was talking about voting for SC earlier. I actually don't think there was liquid bet today. There wasn't any liquid bet for today.
No?
So I don't have to worry about that earlier round.
Are you sure it wasn't like yesterday?
I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Because when I woke up this morning, I actually looked at the, I was trying to look up TLPD for some of today's matches for the stats, and it wasn't on the calendar. It is now. I saw it. But when I looked at it this morning, it wasn't. And I think that there just wasn't any today.
They just forgot.
Someone will tweet at me about it and be like, no, Wolf, you're wrong. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't liquid bet for today.
We could check.
You want to check?
I've got it right here.
Check that. Moletrap's going to do the check. He's actually got like this crazy device.
Yeah.
Down here he's got this gadget. He goes like this. He moves his hands. And then suddenly all answers are revealed.
Pretty much.
The internet may or may not be involved. He's like, I'm going to check liquid bet. I'm like, you're not actually checking liquid bet. You're using magical powers.
That's what I'm doing, actually. And you are correct,
Yeah, there's
sir.
no liquid bet.
There is no liquid bet for today's
guys.
games.
Who does that on Team Liquid? I don't know which staff member does that, but
lucked out.
Yeah, I lucked out, man. I would have voted for SC versus Tasia.
Feel bad for that guy that was here yesterday who believed so much
in
the Swedish players that he betted on all the Swedes.
Yeah, like he asked me, well, to be honest, I knew what was gonna happen, man. And like he like showed me that he was like, I'm hoping, and he's like, I believe, and I was like, no, dude, you're gonna lose with so many points on your liquid bet.
I really did think that the Swedes were gonna take 1 or 2 matches.
Well, Thorzane did win 1 game. I
thought they were gonna take 1 or 2 matches. If I had to put money on it, I probably would have put money on the Koreans, yes, but I really did think, and like we were talking about all day yesterday, we don't have to go into it again, but if things had gone a little bit differently, the Swedes would have won a couple of those.
It's possible, yeah.
So, but anyway, DongRaeGu is up 1-0 over JYP. JYP was like coming into this saying, all right, I get to get my revenge for that LG Cinema tournament. And it's just not happening so far, man.
Yeah.
He got pretty owned there.
That was pretty owned is a good way to put it.
And
the sentry drop. Let's talk about this.
Let's do that.
I thought he was going to do what he did the second sentry drop with, which is the 2 sentries. That's something that people are doing where you force field the drones in, then you kill a lot of them, the Zerlings come and you just lift up and leave. You just basically trap all the drones into the mineral line and then kill them with the sentries.
Can the sentries actually kill the drones fast enough for it to be worthwhile, though?
Yeah. I mean, they do a decent amount because when the Zerlings come, if you don't have any Zerlings coming, then, I mean, if you don't have any other units than Zerlings coming, the Zerlings actually just get force fielded away, too.
That's true.
And if you lose your sentries, no big deal if you kill a lot of drones.
Yeah, and if they're full sentries, you've got 8 force fields. Those drones are trapped there for a long time.
The Queen becomes problematic, and Spore Crawlers become problematic. But then what he did was even more interesting, which is what I do against Terran a lot of times. It's very difficult to pull off against Zerg. He force fielded the ramp, and then
that was actually really cool.
That was cool. If he had one more round of units, he would have just crushed face there, but didn't quite work out like that.
Yeah, I mean, he had his macro hatch in his main, so that was part of it, is even though he was keeping reinforcements from coming up the ramp, he had double production in his main, able to put out a lot of Zerglings, and so he overpowered with that.
And he was engaging at the top at the same time with some awesome multitasking with Void Rays.
That was insane that both players were actually multitasking both attacks.
And beyond the Void Rays at the top, at the natural of JYP, there were Zerling counterattacks. JYP had to pull his probes 2 different times before the times where you guys saw he lost.
Insane.
So many things were going on.
It's too bad that we could only watch that game once because you could probably go back and get 5 minutes of footage out of that 2-minute battle from so much stuff going on in different locations. Yeah. And the observer there's no way that he could keep up.
He actually just couldn't keep up with everything because I mean he's a pro gamer, but he was like, well, what do I show, man?
Yeah, exactly.
It's their APM is so high you can't figure it out fast enough. It's just too many things are going on at once. He's just trying to make a good show.
So yeah, that was.
But you guys can go back and watch the VODs, look at the minimap, and you'll start to see what we're talking about if you guys didn't catch. So I'm sure. I try to mention as much.
I'm actually really curious what all went because we didn't get a chance to see the top battle that much. I'm curious how he dealt with those Void Rays.
He killed a bunch of spines, and basically there were spores trying to inch forward defending, and there were a lot of queens. So he was trying to overpower that eventually. And I think what his plan was to follow up with some gateway units after the spines were down. But then he sent his Void Rays to come and help out in the inside the main base, and then they fell, and it got weird.
It might have been a lot better if he just pressured the top and sent those Void Rays full on with that drop in the main. That would have been really good because then the Zealots kill the Queen and Void Rays easily kill the hatchery.
Yeah, everything else, man.
Anyway, JYP's going to have another chance, though, on Tal'Darim Altar. He's going to have a chance to come back and tie up the score to see if he can get his vengeance and see if he can advance to the up and down matches for the first time. DongRaeGu, of course, is his first time, too. Let's see if he can close out the series here in Game 2.
I don't know, I thought it'd work. It didn't work. I was just
just got a mug, man. Just got a mug.